We're here in Orlando, Florida at Vectors 2019. We're here on the second day of the show, and joining me is Chris Herring from Computer Instruments. Chris, thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much, Eric. Appreciate it.
So, second day, what have you seen? What are your thoughts on the first almost 2 days?
Oh, well, this is a very impressive event. I've met a lot of people, and certainly the product that we're talking about today, Virtual Concierge, really is something that's going to fit in here. So we're excited and looking forward to have, we're going to be on the stage here shortly, and we'll be anxious to talk about it.
So this is something that you actually just announced yesterday morning along with SkySwitch. Tell me about that.
Well, they came to us about 60 days ago. We announced our product, Virtual Concierge. They came to us, said, hey, we'd like to take a look at your product. We gave them a demonstration. We did essentially a proof of concept with them. They said this is something that their team and their channel would be interested in. Mm-hmm. So we signed an agreement. Actually, we just signed an agreement last week, and so here we are.
And when you say Virtual Concierge, what do you mean by that? What does your Virtual Concierge do?
Oh, okay. Well, first off, it's a software package that resides on a conversational IVR that has integration to Google Voice Services and Google AI. So essentially, it's what we call Virtual Concierge. It's a personal digital device for a company.
All right. So you're taking a Siri or something like that and throwing it into the business world?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Is that something that customers or that businesses, I should say, are demanding, or where's the need or the demand coming from?
Well, that's a great question. But today, most of the people, well, let me say that not most, but 41% of the population or homes in the United States have a Siri or a Alexis or a Google Home. So they're acquainted with this technology. Furthermore, there's even more people that use a smartphone, use Hey Google to do searches, things like that. So it only makes sense that as that technology takes hold, and people have obviously are using it and like it, they're going to ask companies that they do business with have the same kind of technology. And essentially that's what Virtual Concierge does. It provides the bridge between a caller through their communication platform, PBX, to Google AI and back.
So how does an AI-based system like this differ from the IVR systems that people have really come to dislike over the years?
Well, you're right. IVRs in the past have been primarily a press or say type environment, and they've also, particularly with speech recognition, sometimes it's been difficult, particularly if you're in a noisy area and so forth. But when you bring AI into the picture and you bring a good communication platform, then you have the proper mix, really, to be able to have a very intelligent conversation interrogated by an artificial system that will understand what you say and provide a better and enhanced environment, an enhanced experience, for sure.
Do people trust artificial intelligence?
Well, interesting too. There's been a study here recently that people are more truthful with an IVR and with a spoken conventional conversational IVR than they are speaking to a human. So the answer is more so.
Interesting. And is there a difference in terms of usage or enjoyment or value, or however you want to characterize it, using a male voice versus a female voice?
That's a good question. We find, depending on the industry, for instance, banking, people like to speak to females, more involved with, like transportation, leisure, so forth. Male voice has been really the most popular. I'm not really sure that I'm an expert on which voice works best, but in our experience, that seems to be the trend.
How much has conversational AI evolved over the past year or two, and I guess where do you see it headed going forward?
Oh, well, that's a good question too. The best way I can really probably explain it is the cost of doing it. Just 12, 14 months ago, for instance, we did what we call a natural language standard way of doing it, and using the technology that was present. And it's in the $300,000 to $500,000. Well, now when we look at the same opportunity, if we were going to use Virtual Concierge today, we'd be under $50,000 to get it accomplished. So from a perspective, it's cost effective. Also, too, conversations is everywhere. People, again, are taking hold of this technology. They're taking hold of using the personal devices. And we're just going to see that from conversation. That's going to evolve the business in working with tools that provide the ability to understand conversations and use it. Further, I would say, too, conversation is eventually going to be really the currency for business strategies. People want to know what people are saying when they come to your company. They're going to want more than just what press 1 or press 2 says. They want to know why somebody called your company. They're going to want to know what the emotions are of that caller, and they're going to look at that and be able to route and do business logic to understand what's the best way to enhance the experience of that caller.
So as I've had similar experiences, but I've heard from others as well. We tried to use this natural language understanding, and it just these automated assistants just aren't understanding what I'm saying. It sounds to me like that technology has evolved to the point where it really is starting to understand very easily and very accurately what people are speaking.
Well, when you're talking about, for instance, integrating to Google, you're already working with a technology that already does well with handheld cell phones.
Sure.
Okay, and so as you can expect the quality of this being as I guess as good as if you being on a cell phone driving in your car with the window down. And with the advent of or the addition of Google AI using that technology that's filtering out and looking at the conversation, so it's a measurable improvement over the standard speech recognition that people have used in the past.
Are there particular industries, particular use cases that you're targeting or that you expect to be earlier adopters?
Well, certainly healthcare, insurance. We've had a number in our client base. We've had trucking firms that are interested in working with this. So really, it's people or companies who have issues with conversation that they need more information than just what an IVR or necessarily what they can get from from an email or something like that. So this technology is going to make it more workable. It's going to be able to be more applied to really pretty much any place where you need a conversation to understand what you need.
Do you think this technology now can flip the sentiments around IVR back towards positive?
Oh, absolutely. Well, look at it this way. If you were upset and you called into a company, you would want somebody who had the skill set to work with you. Now, you wouldn't want to necessarily go through an auto attendant, press or say, and then get routed to who knows what, okay? Really what you'd want is you want that company to understand that you're calling and what you're calling about, and that you're not necessarily emotionally happy about the whole experience. Well, companies normally would want to take that call and route it to somebody with a better skill set or somebody who can better handle that kind of a situation, and particularly if you were a good client. So we know who you called in, who you are, prioritize your situation, prioritize your emotion. It all can be done with AI.
So if I'm not getting the resolution that I'm looking for, I'm not getting the answers that I need, how easy is it for me as the caller to get out of that IVR system and in touch with a live person?
It's as easy as saying, hey, I want to talk to somebody. Quotes.
It's a whole lot easier than trying to figure out what number combination to push.
I agree.
Excellent. Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining us today.
I appreciate it.